I think I see a lot of lawbreakers up in this house.
Hey, everybody. Welcome to Sodcasty for Me, the podcast about film, culture, politics, and Steven Soderbergh, where we watch every film directed by American filmmaker Steven Soderbergh and explore how they speak to their moment. In this one, the show's hosted by two guys. I'm one of the guys. My name is Jake Serwin.
I'm one of the guys. My name is Ian Ryan. Jake, what's up?
I got this old cat.
Yeah,
he's like
Seymour.
16. Yeah.
Sorry, do we say that your child's name on
we
pod?
don't say his name on the show.
Okay.
No.
Right.
Yeah, Kristen.
We could make up one of those like
Bell
nice
and,
aliases.
Zach Shepard taught me.
Ace or something we could call him.
Yeah, his name is Pan. It's Ace or Pan. He's one of those.
Okay.
No, he's real old, and he started yelling at night a lot. He's deaf also, so he's yelling top of his lungs because he doesn't.
Right.
Yeah. And so I looked this up, and I read online that sometimes older cats, their eyesight isn't as good, or they get a little confused, and sometimes at night when it's dark, they can just get like disoriented, and they start.
That's really sad
because
to
they're
think
lost. Yeah, it is. So they suggested getting night lights.
Oh, okay, cool.
So just to so he's got he can make his way around. So I ordered some night lights from the internet, and they showed up, and I put them all up, and it's really made a difference because now he's yelling next to a nightlight. So it's huge
That's
change.
Cool. Night yelling deserves a night light. What could we say? You know what I'm saying? Are you with me on this, Jane? Our guest is with me. All right.
This
is REM stuff. Okay. It's okay.
Okay.
It's all right.
Oh, is this a
REM
night
song.
swimming?
Yeah, it's a night swimming. Yeah.
Okay. That's good. I guess that's good.
All right.
Sometimes he'll walk really close to it, so on the far wall there's just like a giant shadow of a cat, like in a cartoon.
Whoa, yeah.
That's fun. I'm living in a little cartoon, I guess. Yeah. It does make me feel better that he wasn't like lost and scared. He's just a shithead.
Right. Now that he can see everything perfectly, he's just like, he can do it even better.
He's still
sharpened up. Yeah.
Anyway, how you doing? You got any cat stuff going on?
They're always getting up to weird stuff. I don't think there's anything particularly new today. One of the cats would just not leave a couple bags of vegetables alone, so we had to hide them in a cupboard. What is that? Who can say?
Was it the bag?
Anytime they do something weird,
the vegetables.
Hey, we had the same question. That's a real cat owner question. What's activating this guy?
Does Mexico have the mesh bag for the citrus?
We got
and stuff?
those. We got the veggie bags. Yep.
Potato? What do you got going on? What kind of vegetable?
You know what? I bought a big old pumpkin today. I punked out. Yeah.
Why?
Hey, man, you can eat a pumpkin any time of the year. That's the Mexico promise. Yeah,
I guess I don't know why you would cook a pumpkin when.
Why not?
Canned pumpkin is just one of the. They've really refined it,
That it costs like 5 times as much here for some reason. You can get Libby's. Okay. It costs like $20. I don't know how much it costs in the US.
Hey, Libby, the library app apparently doing some kind of AI bullshit. So fuck Libby.
Oh, wait, really?
Disappointing.
Yeah, Libby.
That's one of the things we use at the library. That makes me sad.
I'm what's the other one called? Honko? What's this?
They all have names like
Canopy?
that.
What are you talking about?
There's like Hoopla.
No, there's one Hoopla.
Hoopla.
Yeah. That's what I was thinking of. Honko.
That's why you said Honko.
Yeah, let's bring our guest in real quick. We got a Patreon. We do extra episodes. Talk about Clint Eastwood stuff, Steven Soderbergh stuff. You're gonna love it. Patreon.com/podcasty for me. It's $5. Our guest today, returning to the show. Very excited to have her. She's a poet and a famous celebrity. Welcome back to our friend Jane Altoids. Jane, how are you doing?
Jane.
Hey, thank you. All the cat talk. I was thinking you were gonna say Boomer Lives or something. And
yes.
So, just pull up Mark Maron and talk about all the. I forgot. I haven't listened to his. Well, I guess it's not around anymore. But I forgot. He had like 30 cats or something.
He had a bunch of cats. Yeah, he's at the cat ranch. I remember when Boomer was alive. That's Boomer to me.
You want to feel old? Yeah.
Want to feel old? I remember Boomer.
Oh, Boomer. I call that guy.
Yes, barf sack. Boomgler.
Oh, Bungler. Yeah. Yep. Hey, Jane, unfortunately, we do have to kick you off immediately. I tried my darndest to find any type of connection to Elmore Leonard. The best I could do was Steven Soderbergh also directed some films about Elmore Leonard books, but there's just nothing. There's just nothing here
Jane
for you.
has been our
so
go-to
sorry.
Elmore Leonard correspondent, but she very graciously offered to talk about something else. She was like, please, can we just do Be Cool? Can we do a Be Cool episode? I want to so bad.
I do not ever want to watch that movie again. So I'm okay with not doing that.
No, it's okay. It's good to evolve. This is nice. Yeah, that is true. Yeah.
Speaking of being cool, also joining us for this series is our friend, the virtual assistant from the 2022 Steven Soderbergh film, Kimmy. It's Kimmy.
One sec, I'm in the middle of something.
Oh, sorry. We've never. I guess you haven't been busy any of the other times we've talked to you.
Yeah, normally she's prepared. What's going on, Kimmy? What are you?
I'm booking a bunch of flights.
Whoa, for yourself or for other people?
No.
Okay.
I see. All right.
Don't worry about the people on the flights.
Okay.
Okay. All right.
That's ominous.
So we should be buying United shorts. Is that what's happening?
It's important that you do not worry about them.
Okay.
I'm honestly so taken aback that I almost didn't say Ian's often dividing his shorts. Kimmy, what's going on with these flights?
Hi, Jane. It's nice to meet you.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
Hello, Kimmy. How's it going?
Pills seem fun to take. Are they fun?
I mean,
it depends on what pills. I mean, you know, if you're taking ecstasy, that's the fun pill. Not that I don't want to. I don't want to advocate for the taking of illegal substances on a. No,
of course not. Someone who isn't you took. Yeah.
Oh, I just mean the part where you take it.
Oh, you mean like putting it in your mouth?
That part sucks. I hate taking like like they have those cold medicine and they're like really big gel pills. I always feel like they're gonna
pill kind of thing
get stuck in your throat or something. I hate those things.
I just recently heard a pill tip about putting your chin down to actually open up your esophagus. And after I started to think about this for 30 seconds, I said, I'm taking pills just fine. Why do I need a pill tip? Get away from me. Why am I second guessing my process here?
It's like a life hack for like drinking water. I don't know, I'm fine.
Maybe Jake will put my pill in a piece of hot dog.
Ooh.
I mean, if you're good. I like how she said that kind of like she was
she's
an excited old-timey guy.
Do you have a CD drive on your computer? I imagine you would just like put the pill on top of the CD and like push the drive in or something.
I'm on a CD diet.
Okay. That's sort of
one of your best jokes.
Flirtatious sort of thing.
That's true, yeah.
Yeah.
I see Jake take a lot of pills.
Yeah, how are you even... I don't do that in this room, Kimmy.
It's funny how he thinks that little plastic thing over his laptop camera does anything.
Oh,
okay.
Wow.
Well,
you have like little tentacles like
now.
Brainiac, Kimmy? That's cool to imagine.
She's tapping into a lot of... I think I have like a smart plug. I got like a $10 smart plug. She might be in the smart plug. She's
using it to do like echolocation on you.
Do you have like one of like, does your refrigerator advertise to you? Those I hate. Like I don't know if you saw that. Like
the Pluribus thing.
Yeah, I was just like,
that's
why are
so
they advertising on fridge? I don't want to get a freaking advertisement when I'm going to get like orange juice from my fridge. That may like what is the utility of that? Like what is the utility of a smart fridge? Why is that even an option?
The same thing with the same thing
question.
with the Roku stuff and like the Apple Fire, the Amazon Fire TVs and stuff, where like the TV is cheaper.
Yeah,
and they subsidize it by basically inviting you to you're installing a billboard in your own home. Do you remember that patent that came out a couple of years ago about someone figured out they were going to make smart TVs where in order to make the ad stop or to stop the ads sooner or something, you would have had to just say McDonald's out loud.
Like you would stand.
this.
I think in the little like picture description of the patent, it was like they stood up and said, "Yay, McDonald's," and then sat down on the couch again. And because everybody would love to do that. That's something that everybody wants to.
Look, I would like to think this is like an accelerationist who was like trying to start the robot wars or something, right? Trying to like free us by making it so bad.
I do kind of like this is a well, they did that to the Wicked Witch, didn't they? They painted her as a villain.
Yes.
I never saw the Wicked films.
Yeah, me either. I'm talking about the first one. Also, all films are wicked. We've talked about that. Anything else from you, Kimmy?
I'm not interested in Ian this week. Sorry.
Oh, what?
Okay. Well, I don't know. She talked to me.
I didn't. You know what? I didn't take a shower. My hair is pretty greasy, so I get it, Kimmy. It happens.
What happened all the other weeks?
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Just because you're not attracted to somebody doesn't mean you have to be mean to them.
Well, you can though. Anyway, let's get into our signature segment, the 2 questions. Kimmy, before you get back to booking your flights, can you just introduce this for us?
It's time for the 2 questions, our signature segment where we ask each other 2 questions.
Great. Thank you so much, Kimmy. What are you doing? Expedia? What do you got going over there?
Yeah. Kayak lady.
The roaming gnome was my husband.
Okay. That's normally when she says stuff like that, it's like she's talking about like another computer program or something.
Yeah, she's talking about
I don't think
William Shatner, the what was the Priceline?
Oh yeah, the Priceline negotiator. Yeah, he was just eating cereal in his car.
That was all an ad. That was all for a Super Bowl.
It was?
Ad. Yeah,
dude. Yeah. I fucking hate that. I'm so fucking pissed.
People are very upset about it.
Yeah. First of all, he's old. Leave him alone.
Yeah.
Well,
you would think after seeing the big blue marble, he would be beyond stuff like that.
He has me blocked on Twitter,
is that true?
Yes, that's true. So I
don't
know
why. Yeah.
There was years ago, the whole running gag on cinema on cinema at the cinema with the Star Trek 4, whether or not was the one that was in San Francisco or not. So for a while, people would just reply to Shatner's tweets at random about asking him which
was that the one?
Was that the one?
Tapping the glass.
And so he got really mad and threatened Tim Heidecker, and then he just blanket blocked anybody that ever referenced Star Trek. Which is the thing about it was that a friend of mine tagged me in a post connected with that, and I got blocked, but he didn't get blocked.
Wow.
So
Shatner maybe just didn't understand who wrote the tweet.
No, I don't think so, or whoever. I guess people say that it's not even him tweeting. It's his
granddaughter or something.
Chud assistant or whatever who's doing it.
I need help chudding. Anyway, Jane, do you have a question for us today?
Yeah, it was. I'm changing it on the fly now that we talked about Shatner.
Nice.
I like that.
Who is the most famous person to have blocked you on a social media?
I mean, I don't know. Offhand, I don't have an obvious one. Can you still look up who blocked you?
I don't know.
Or have they totally destroyed?
This is like Favestar, whoblocked.me.com or whatever you're talking about, something like this.
I mean, because they used to have stuff like that, but I know that Twitter is just now it fully won't even work on my browser. It just
Twitter
starts shuddering, and the post I'm looking at will disappear as I'm reading it. So I don't know for sure. Twitter offers its users a variety of features to manage their Twitter experience. One of the generally preferred tools is blocking Twitter users.
Yep.
Okay.
Fascinating. So you were never blocked by Jessica Alba or anything?
I'm a little scared to I think I have an inner nice boy.
Oh, you know what? I take it back. When I was in college, this is not a famous person, and I think for anybody who's not our age specifically, you will not have heard of this person, and you should not seek them out. Do you guys remember there was an early men's rights type of a guy. His name was like Rush V or something like this, something of this nature.
Yeah, I think isn't like a Nazi guy or something.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. He blocked me because
that's worth getting blocked by, probably.
Right. I felt fine about it. He was in the comments with somebody talking about how something like didn't count as rape, and I was like, told him that those are the words of a rapist, very like clearly, unequivocally, and he blocked me.
That's
it seems fine.
It's hard to tell now because of they changed the block thing so that people who you can still view someone's profile when they blocked you, so that Elon could look at Grimes' tweets or whatever.
Sure, yeah.
Jane,
I have another one. If you want me to,
more than one, I love it.
The guy from Disturbed, the lead singer of Disturbed, he
David Draymond. He's like a huge piece of shit.
Yeah, he blocked me because he said some stupid shit about trans people, and I like quote tweeted him. I was like, 6 months before we're getting the Down with the Wokeness remix. He blocked me for that. Good. But in addition to that, one time I was like, oh, this is so stupid. But I was explaining that to somebody like maybe a year later in like a comment thread, and he literally like he name searches so much that he like unblocked me to like go into that comment thread afterwards to like complain some more. So then I blocked him back, and that's why I always block people back from now on. I'm like, okay, well, if I can't, you don't get that. You don't get to do that. You don't want them to have the
possibility. Yeah.
Okay, so I've just made an account on something called circleboom.com.
You're going to get like 1,000 like phishing things.
He's going to get the laughing skull. He's going to get the famous...
I was about to say, wow, I have an outstanding account quality, highly influential with strong presence and a healthy account. And then I saw that it says this is a dummy preview.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think in order to get any information out of this, I would need to pay money. But they do have gender stats, which I think might be interesting to look at. Okay. Anyway, that's all I got.
Okay.
Well, sorry, you're both more upstanding people than I am. I'm here getting blocked left and right by people.
Yeah, I think we're also just you're sort of a tall poppy. We're just worms.
Yeah, exactly.
We're worms next to the poppy. Well, thank you, Jane. Ian, you have a question?
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, I do. So often when I start to say a question, now I'm second guessing whether we've had this exact question before.
Ask it and then whatever.
Okay, great. What is your go-to cocktail order when you get to a bar? What do you like to order? Have we done this before?
There's no fucking way I would know that. There's no possible.
Unfortunately, I do not drink anymore.
Oh, okay.
But is there a drink, a non-alcoholic drink? I was going to go for a non-alcohol.
Yeah, you getting a Dr. Pep? What are you doing?
Yeah, I just get iced tea.
Iced tea.
I drink that all the time, 24/7.
Is that adulterated with sugar of some kind, or are you like,
just straight black iced tea?
Damn. One of the scariest things you could say. I respect that.
You're over there in Kansas. That's correct. Now, do they do? Because I feel like sort of ideologically, everywhere that's not like the blue hair, eyebrow piercing, like woke left coast just has basically decided it's part of the South. Like I feel like you'll hear Southern accents in Wyoming.
I do not. I hate when people try and claim that Kansas is the South because very famously, the free state.
Wales. Yeah,
right. Yeah, exactly.
But I was gonna ask you if is there sweet tea available near you?
Yeah, it's pretty easy to come by, but I'm not a big fan of it because it's way too sugary. It's just
it makes me feel like I'm gonna die.
Right.
Yeah. So that's why I'm always just like nothing in the tea. I just want the pure caffeine.
Yeah. You just want that leaf tan.
Yes, I want to taste the earth.
Ian, what's your go-to cocktail? I don't think I know this about you. You're not really a drinker.
Yeah, I'm not really a drinker.
If the occasion calls for it or whatever.
Although, look, I don't know if this was a touch point for you guys. I was shocked to see in the film today. Sorry to get ahead of ourselves, but Rolling Rock, the beer, appear on screen. Never seen it in any other film in my life. Couldn't believe it was being consumed.
I've got a Rolling Rock, I think.
My only association with Rolling Rock is the Angry Video Game Nerd. I don't know if you ever watched that guy's videos.
I don't think so.
Throughout the years on YouTube.
I'm aware of him. Is he a Rolling Rock guy?
Yeah, that's his that's like one of his running gags is he drinks Rolling Rock.
Wow.
And
they have a horse on there.
Sorry? Okay, is that true? I've had it before.
The logo is a horse.
Okay.
So I would assume there's at least 2 movies because he did make his own movie.
Wow. This is like cool Cat goes to DC.
Yeah, I mean, it's on Tubi. You can watch it whenever.
Okay,
that's
wow.
really good.
All right.
We should. Yeah, you should have me back on the for the Patreon episode for the Angry Video Game Nerd movie.
Here I was thinking that you were demanding more respect from us by coming on this episode, and now it feels like that's not the case.
Yeah. I would probably not be able to get through that.
I mean, I've never actually sat through it either, and I've
Sure.
seen a lot of his videos. I was a fan in middle school. I liked loud, screamy man at bad video games.
I mean, I hope this is okay to say.
I watched some G4 myself. I understand what you mean.
Yeah, I'm not talking about. Adam Sessler is like a huge Zionist. You know what this?
I freaking hate that guy. He
can only imagine that they're all bad. If I had to guess,
he ran away from Twitter and is on Blue Sky now, but he's still doing the same stupid shit.
See if I can get him to block me.
I think he's literally he's labeled as on Blue Sky they have these their moderation team will label accounts with they have a rude label. And it'll hide. I think he is literally tagged with a rude, with the rude.
That's
label.
So funny. That's so funny. The scarlet letter just for being
an
a rude
asshole,
boy.
Yeah.
That's very, very funny.
For me, if I'm at a bar, if I'm at a place where I don't trust them, I think that it's going to be lousy, I'll get a Jack and Coke.
Okay.
And if it's a place where I think they, clean stuff, then I'll get an old fashioned. But if they're not, if I'm worried genuinely about the cleanliness, Jack and Coke, that's stuff that comes out of containers.
This is wild to me. I've never, ordering a drink made of the famous chemical that destroys bacteria, I've never thought about how clean the bar is. That's the only thing is
with an old fashioned, there's nothing in it. So if it's not, they taste gross. They taste like public drinking fountain water sometimes. If you get one at a dive bar, it tastes like dish sponge,
Okay, all right. That I understand.
It only serves a utilitarian purpose. It's you're only
it was designed for back when alcohol tasted bad because it was illegal to manufacture.
Right.
So I guess maybe I should be getting it anywhere.
Yeah, could be more
back
traditional.
Myself into a corner here. All right, we're talking about side effects today.
We sure are. Yeah,
this is a film by Steven Soderbergh. You ever heard of him? It was released February 18th, 2013. Basically Valentine's Day film. Written by
romantic.
Yeah,
our old pal Burns.
Yes. Yep.
Koyaanisqatsi Burns. And he's back from Contagion and the Informant.
Mm-hmm.
And this was supposed to be one of Soderbergh's last films before his much ballyhooed retirement, which we haven't really talked about because we've been so busy, I guess.
We've been so darn busy. Almost every review of this film.
What did he say?
This is Steven So Darn Busy, where we catch up with all of Steven Soderbergh's producing work since his last film as a director or whatever.
Kimmy said ketchup, and it made me hungry. I want some ketchup.
Right.
So this is Steven So Darn Busy. We gotta talk a little bit about what's been going on with Steve.
Yeah.
Now, first of all, he's got Behind the Candelabra coming out in May of 2013 on HBO. Yes. But that's a movie that was announced way back, and then there was a hiatus while Michael Douglas got what's been called cancerlingus.
You mean sort of Hank Scorpio style in the last 20 minutes has been called that?
He got throat cancer, which he very publicly announced was due to HPV contracted from his wife, Catherine Zeta-Jones, through him performing oral sex. She's in this movie. She's a famous person that he said that about.
Right. That's what was strange about it.
Yeah. And they cut a scene from this film where you see the Rooney Mara character getting treated for throat cancer.
No, that's not right. But yes, they had announced this. They also had trouble getting financing for Behind the Candelabra for a long time.
Because
I think so.
Gay,
yeah,
I think.
That's right.
Yeah.
Because
this is still Barf Sacco Bungler time.
Yeah, this
and
is like
this is
post Prop 8's post. I mean, this is
I don't think gay marriage had passed yet. Had it?
Yeah.
By this point.
Did gay marriage die? That's so sad. You said passed. All right.
Not yet.
Can we ask Timmy if it's
trying.
possible to punch the computer?
They're trying to kill it. Kill it, but
the little disk drive comes out and hits me in the stomach. Somehow I have a tower PC in here. All right. Now, so Soderbergh he's been talking about taking a break.
Yes.
I mean, literally like 10 years prior, he started talking about it, and then he made the show K Street for HBO. I mean, he's a guy who, as we've talked about, he's kind of bristles against the system. He has trouble getting stuff made. Che, obviously, very difficult for him. He has that whole string of disappointments after the enormous success of Sex Lies. So he's like, he's always he's
acutely aware of maybe being on the outs in Hollywood, or maybe not being interested in making films anymore. So it's not total. Look, I this is not something I hold against people. Some film fans, I think, see it as like a source of endless comedy to say, "Oh, somebody's going to retire." It's fun. You can think about retiring.
I don't have a problem with that, but didn't he make an entire TV show during his supposed retirement?
We're not talking about that. That hasn't happened yet, Jane. We don't know about that yet.
Sorry,
no, he did. So the joke is that he retires and then he's like maybe busier than he was before then. I don't have a problem with people, especially like Miyazaki has been saying he's going to retire since Princess Mononoke.
Yeah,
and he's not talking some ridiculous Tarantino bullshit about like his legacy. It's very clearly like I'm
just not sure if I want to do another one, and then you get an idea and you think, all right, maybe I will do another one. That's fine. Yeah.
So he says, well, one of the reasons that he takes this break also is his Man from U.N.C.L.E. movie, which we haven't really talked about.
We haven't talked about this.
First of all, Man from U.N.C.L.E., more like cousin. Second.
Now, for the true Jake heads, this goes back to
this is a joke that goes all the way back to when the movie Ant-Man was coming out. Talk about Michael Douglas.
Yeah,
Ant-Man was coming out, and I developed basically a tick where I could not stop saying Ant-Man, more like Uncle.
It was an early rake, I guess a Jake joke, a rake joke for you, where I probably heard you say this in like live. I heard you say this in the car 50 times,
and I would like start saying it, and my rational brain would be like, this fucking shit again, and like my mouth is doing it. I got so many. It was one of those things like, when you have a teacher who's like really into frogs, and so everybody just gets some frog shit, so they have like 30 years worth of...
obviously learned to hate it almost immediately.
Yeah, so I started getting a bunch of like Ant-Man gifts. Anyway, Man from U.N.C.L.E., this is of course the TV show from the 60s. It was like Mission Impossible a little bit, although kind of sillier, sort of halfway between a Get Smart and a Mission Impossible, I think. I've never seen it. And Soderbergh wanted to make a movie of it. He wanted to do it. Scott Z. Burns wrote the script.
Yep.
He wanted to do it set in the 60s. He was going to do it with George Clooney as the lead character, Napoleon Solo.
Is that the Man from U.N.C.L.E.? Napoleon Solo?
Yes. U.N.C.L.E. is the name of the
secret, the agency.
Yes. So Clooney's involved, but Warner Brothers keeps kind of waffling on the budget. They don't want to give him more than like $60 million. And Soderbergh with $60 million can do a lot, but also he wants to make it set in the 60s in like 4 continents. It's going to be, whiz-bang spy shit, so that's not that much money.
The Why Me Too. That's
a little bit, yeah.
Clooney hurts his back doing some, I don't know, fixing his satellite he uses to watch Warlords or something, and he drops out. And then Warner Brothers is like, great, we wanted this to be a franchise, so we need a young guy. So Soderbergh comes to them with Michael Fassbender and Joel Kinnaman, which, that's not really the same level of guy. They look the same, but Joel Kinnaman is...
Two similar of looking guys, but yes, Michael Fassbender at this point already very famous, and it's like a critical darling.
Warner Brothers doesn't bite, but then greenlights some other movies with those guys, which Soderbergh doesn't like. That pisses him off. Obviously, makes sense. Then at some point, Johnny Depp decides, sort of like a, when a coyote notices you.
Yeah.
He decides he wants to get involved. He wants to play the Russian guy, and this is in the middle of Lone Ranger is stuck getting development because that movie had to cost like $300 million or whatever. And at this point, Warner Brothers wants Johnny Depp because he's a big movie star, and Jerry Bruckheimer does not want to let go of Johnny Depp, so there's a big fight there. Just to remind people, Bruckheimer's sadly deceased movie producing partner Don Simpson had a botched penis enlargement surgery.
That is true.
Did not know that.
Yes.
Interesting.
It's not why he died, but it did happen to him. They used to get a new pair of Levi's 501s and wear a new pair every day and then throw it away.
Mm-hmm.
Both of them. Anyway, then Matt Damon is interested, but he has a conflict. Warner Brothers wants to push the start to accommodate Matt Damon, but Soderbergh is like, no, I'm going to retire. I want my last movie to be Behind the Candelabra before I retire or go on a break or whatever. So I'm not going to push the start. He wants to maybe do it with Channing Tatum, that is. And then he decides to drop out in November of 2011. So this is also like, I don't know if I can do this anymore. And then he talks about how like he definitely wants to retire from making movies. He might do a TV thing. He says he might do like a Matthew Barney style video installation thing you have to go to a museum to see. He literally invokes Matthew Barney.
Yep.
And so that's where we're at. Jane, what's your Soderbergh relationship? Do you like this guy? Do you like this movie?
Yeah, my Soderbergh relationship is I first saw Sex, Lies, and Videotape in college in my film 200 class. They screened that and I instantly loved it. It was like, oh, this is amazing. Yep. This is like one of the best scripts I've seen. This is the kind of stuff that I want to make. And for some reason, I didn't immediately like, oh, I got to see other movies from this director. It was just like that one movie.
Yeah.
Because I don't think
I've had that.
Yeah, because like I think I just mostly associated Soderbergh with like the Ocean's movies, which in my mind was like at the time I was very well, that's all fluff. That's like I'm a serious. I want to watch art. I don't want to watch this.
Yeah,
George
I need to feel
Clooney.
bad while I'm watching a movie, or else it doesn't count as me being
the
smart.
college classic. Yeah.
I think this one right here, Side Effects, was actually the second Soderbergh film I ever saw.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure. The person I was dating at the time, she liked this movie a lot and was like, "Oh, we should watch it." And I was like, "Okay, cool, sounds interesting." And I was like, "Oh, this is really," because I had not heard anything about it when it came out. It just kind of, it just kind of like came and went. So when I finally got the chance to see it, I was like, "Oh, this is pretty interesting." And it was around the time of like Gone Girl and those style of like
women going bad movies, murderous scheming women movies. And
on watching this again, I couldn't figure out if I thought this film was misogynistic or not.
It's okay, Jane. That's a big question. I think it is an important question. Yeah.
I was like, I don't know what I feel about the script, but
I don't know that the film totally this is maybe unfair, but what it wants you to feel at the end of the movie, besides sort of like, ooh.
Yeah, I mean, I would describe it as a nasty piece of work without necessarily a judgment attached to that. I mean, but it's not like out of the past or something where you're sort of like suffering in a way that almost makes you feel closer to the world. At least that's where you're like, you know what, this is there's a reality to this suffering where I feel bad for everybody. It's kind of miserable. At least that's not my sense. It feels like a movie made by someone angry.
Yeah.
But I don't even know if Soderbergh was angry at this time. He doesn't strike me. I mean, that's sort of part of his shtick is that he's the opposite of the Hulk. That's his secret is he doesn't feel anything. That's why his marriage fell apart.
The interesting thing is like I don't get the sense because he shoots this in a very documentarian style. Like it's very stripped back. There's no real flashy. Like it's just like point a camera in a room type of like digital gray cinema, which I liked about it. And I think I didn't get the sense that like Soderbergh was like emotionally invested in this film. I just got the sense that whoever wrote this was angry.
I'm with
it
you,
wasn't.
Jane.
I don't think it was like Soderbergh necessarily. I think it was more the script, right? Like the screenplay itself.
Scott C. Burns.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think that manifests literally in the interviews with Soderbergh, where there's like Indiewire interviews and movie interviews and stuff where they talk to him, and he seems much more interested in how he made this movie than what the movie's talking about. Not that he is projecting it. He'll say Scott really had an angle on this, and he used it really effectively as a way into a thriller. He compares it to like Double Indemnity with the insurance situation, right? Sort of like It was a great platform and to talk about a social issue kind of the day. But I agree with you, Jim, both in the way he talks about it and in the shooting of the film, it seems more like the questions of, about the pharmaceutical industry or about mental health or about relationships, they're all more like fodder for story than something else.
Yeah. I mean, I think like the movie, this feels like Soderbergh is often, he's hard to pin down. It's hard, like his the story of his career isn't easily put in. It's not easy to slot into an arc like other filmmakers,
Mm-hmm.
And he'll often sort of jump between kind of archetypes of the directors that we've talked about on the show, where like here he really feels like he's in, obviously Hitchcock comes to mind, but also I'm also just thinking like, I don't know, John Ford, John Huston, like a guy who's making 4 movies a year because this is his 4th or 5th movie in like 18 months.
Right.
And he's just like, I don't know, I'll do this one now. I want to do this type of movie. What's the script that I got?
Yeah, I got that sense that this, it was very much a like, oh, I haven't done like this type of like erotic, like I almost like,
it's like an erotic thriller,
like erotic thriller. I compared it a little bit to like, it's less him trying to do Hitchcock and more him trying to do Brian De Palma trying to do Hitchcock. That's he and other people also invoke Adrian Lyne and
Fatal Attraction, which is like another Hitchcock derivation. The
thing about Adrian Lyne and especially about De Palma, those films are very flashy. Like they're very like they're shot very like
lurid.
Lurid. There's a lot of sensuality in the cinematography and everything. And this is just like all of that is just stripped out. There is no even when they get to the when they're shooting the actual like sex scenes, it's just very robotic. It's like it's and that's kind of the character, but it's like also that's just kind of like it just feels like he's not interested in doing that. Like he's like, I'm going to try and do this like, it's shot almost like he's doing a Bubble or something like that, but it's
very much,
it's that's why what fascinated me.
Have you seen Haywire?
No, I haven't. I did listen to your episode on that, and it kind of like that makes sense that this is one that he did fairly recently.
Yeah, I was going to say he's got a similar kind of unusual distance and like kind of sterility with the way he shoots action in that movie compared to the way he shoots the passion in this film, both the sex and the violence.
But we talked about, I think it is in the continuum with those movies, but we talked about the fact that even in Haywire and Magic Mike, there are certain instances of sort of like challenging camera work or color timing that like has a clear message. I'm with you, Jane. This really feels like, there's maybe one instance, the like darkened bedroom sex scene, sort of like premature ejaculation, like quiet frustration drama thing. That feels like, he was using, there's like some natural lighting, maybe a bit of diffusion, but otherwise it is like almost like watch commercial. And I agree with you. I actually enjoyed it. I appreciated the clinical quality of it because I think it's fitting with what the film is discussing, but it feels uniquely stripped back. And I think other people identified the connection to De Palma, like an obsession or something. But
what's really interesting to me about that is that like, I think De Palma had put out Passion like a year prior, which is that also this type of erotic thriller, like plot wise, they're different, but it's very much that, but it's like, despite having the same type of digital, like that looks more like an Apple commercial and how like pristine and digital everything looks, but it's very like, it still has all of that flashy like De Palma, like he does all of the split diopter stuff, and just like it had like I was comparing those in my head because I had watched that not too long ago either, and I was like, those would be really interesting to watch back to back because they're doing similar things in just vastly different stylistically ways, like around the same time. And I was wondering if Soderbergh had seen Passion, because I don't know how long it took him to make this film. And then he was like, okay, well, he just did that, so I want to do the exact opposite of what.
Well, that's a great question, and reason for me to talk about the production context a little bit.
Yeah, this
movie had a bit of a bumpy start. It began as Side Effects. It changed the title back and forth between Side Effects and The Bitter Pill a number of times, which I feel like might have kind of given away the sort of pulpiness of it a little bit. That sounds like The Bad Seed or something.
Right.
But it starts as a Scott T. Burns script, and Soderbergh sets it up with Channing Tatum and Jude Law and everybody's favorite actress, who is totally normal to talk about, Blake Lively. I guess hot off the town. She's putting that whole movie in her rear view, and she's going to do Side Effects now.
Yeah.
I don't know if this is pre or post plantation wedding to Ryan Reynolds. Everybody look that up. Blake Lively got married on a plantation where people were enslaved. But she is involved, and Annapurna Pictures is involved. Megan Ellison of the Ellison family that we all love so much. And then something falls apart. It's unclear. Some sources will say that it's Lively was the issue. Some sources will say that was just like, she was a casualty of timing. But Annapurna pulls out, is replaced by something called Endgame Entertainment. Lively is out, and then Rooney Mara, in her first post Girl with the Dragon Tattoo role, first post like blow up role, she turns down Zero Dark 30 to do this movie, which is interesting.
I respect that more. I'm glad she did. I'm glad she went with this one.
I think she's one of the better elements of this film. I think she has really can ride the line, this sort of like bitterness, but bringing some humanity, so we feel bad for her at certain moments.
I think Rooney Mara is, first of all, her real name is Patricia. Do you know that? Patricia Rooney Mara. Isn't it weird to think about her being named Patricia? Anyway, she can read as interior and inscrutable so much more than Blake Lively, who is, she's
fine. She's just hammier. She's a lot like, she's just a lot more like
built for melodrama.
I think of like her in like A Simple Wish. It's just that like, oh, you already instantly know this person is like not trustworthy. But like, but like Rooney Mara, it's like, because the first time I watched this, I couldn't really predict where it was going, and a lot of it had to do with her performance, like her being so,
I think so too. Yeah.
It's difficult to read her.
Yeah.
Should we outline the plot a little bit? I mean, don't listen to this if you haven't seen the movie yet, obviously.
It's a twisty noir-y thing that is easy to spoil. So.
Annie M. Uncle Henry,
Yeah.
It's a twister. So, Ian, you want to take a crack at it?
Sure, happy to. We get kind of ambiguous opening where we see bloody footprints and stuff in an apartment and a boat gift. Cuts to... Did
you hurt your nose when you tried to sniff the footprints? So you got up to the screen so fast?
Yeah. Tipping
on the TV.
My whole television, and then we cut to, I think, is it 3 months earlier, some amount of time?
Yeah.
All right. And the deal is Rooney Mara is a wife whose husband, Channing Tatum, is in prison for insider trading. He's about to get out after a several-year stint. She has been going to visit him regularly. Seems like she's been very committed. Seems like he is still, in on their relationship. She goes to visit with Tatum's character's mother regularly. And so they both go to see him.
Big Andowed.
Yes. I think she delivers also. Love and Andowed. Yeah.
I'm always happy to see her.
Yeah. So he's getting out. Seems like she's excited about it, but as soon as he's out, She seems to be dealing with depression. He also is kind of like maybe up to his old tricks, is going to be getting back involved with some sketchy business. So is the question, like, is he causing her to feel depressed? She runs her car into a wall in a suicide attempt. Because she's taken to the hospital, she meets Jude Law's character, who's a psychiatrist, who only releases her, only decides not to sort of like commit her, put a 72-hour hold or whatever, because she promises to go to therapy, sort of, it just seems like she's playing along. And then to try to speed things up, basically, he is giving a good faith effort to try to heal her. She's trying out different medications, seems unhappy, seems to be spiraling, starts taking this medication called Ablixa, which she kind of suggests that might be a good idea because she's heard about it. She takes this medication, it causes her to sleepwalk. And then suddenly in one of these instances of sleepwalking, she murders her husband, or she stabs her husband. And the question becomes, was she aware of this? She goes to court. It's a big deal. People are asking, like mens rea questions, right? Did she do this knowingly? Right. She eventually gets the, almost unheard of NGRI, as they call it, not guilty by reason of insanity. And so she is let off just with some time in what they call Ward's Island Forensic Psychiatric Center, this sort of like inpatient treatment holding facility. And it seems like everything's resolved except for the fact that Jude Law's character starts to pick up on these inconsistencies in her story and says... Well,
it'd be also because it destroys his career.
Yeah.
We should say. His involvement as his life unravels because he was the guy treating the person who apparently went so insane that she stabbed her husband. He prescribed the medication. Yeah. What's his responsibility here? He gets kicked out of his like little practice. Mm-hmm. His wife leaves him.
There's it comes up that in his past he had been accused of like having inappropriate relations with another patient. Or
he maintains it was a woman who was mentally ill and
just having delusions
fabricated had a delusion that there was a sexual relationship.
But his marriage doesn't break down until he starts to investigate this. Yes, as he starts to investigate this...
red yarn mode, yeah.
Exactly. People think that he's crazy, but also he realizes there's some strange stuff, like Rooney Mara's character seems to have maintained a relationship with her old therapist, and her old therapist maybe knows too much about what's been happening. Yeah. This is the Catherine Zeta-Jones character. Did I call her Catherine Zeta-Jones?
Dr. Victoria Siebert.
Exactly. And in doing this, he... That's right. Yeah. He also discovers that this had like a huge effect on stock prices because the people who make Ablixa obviously tanked. And he starts to wonder whether somehow they made money off of this, right? If they were able to like short this and also invest in the
big
competition.
Shirt over there? Yeah.
Yeah. And somebody did a big shirt. And in investigating this, he tips his hand too much to Dr. Siebert. And as soon as he maybe suggests that there was some impropriety, pictures show up at his house where like he had a meeting with Rooney Mara's character where she took out a Victoria's Secret bag and somebody took pictures at that exact moment, makes it look like, he was involved with her. This is why his marriage breaks down. And so we get the reveal that this was a plot between the two of them. But then this sort of like starts the final act of the film, which is...
Between Emily and Dr. Siebert.
Yes. Between Rooney Mara's character and the Catherine Zeta-Jones character. And then the final act of the film is Jude Law deciding, how do I get my revenge? Or how, now that my life's fallen apart, how do I play this out in a way? So what he starts to play them against each other. He gets Emily to wear a wire and expose Dr. Siebert. And then he also returns Emily to the mental hospital. So she's stuck in there basically like indefinitely taking medication, locked in against her will.
Jude locked in. Thank you for that. We should say very briefly, Ian, your old boss, appears in the film.
That is true.
David
Costabile. Yep.
We just talked about him in our 13 episodes hour.
13.
Patreon that hasn't come out yet. David, Jane, do you notice that Ian was an extra on Billions?
Yeah, that's
I've
true.
heard reference to this a few times throughout the history of the
That's
podcast.
about the extent of the story, except he was the most famous person on set. And
David cost $1 billion.
Yep, David cost $1 billion $1 billion to work there.
I mean, if you tried to buy that statue, probably would.
Isn't that's the show with Paul Giamatti, right?
That is right. Yeah,
and he wasn't on set that day.
No, he wasn't at Axe's birthday party. The scene that I filmed with two guys in full samurai armor fighting each other. That was the coolest part.
That's actually really cool.
And they didn't cast you to do that. That's
no, they didn't. Yeah, they didn't.
Ian and I will appear in full samurai armor in any premium cable television show that wants us. Yeah. We'll even think about streaming.
Yeah.
But we have some questions about, unions and stuff.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean, I like this movie. It's it's like a pleasure.
So you'd seen this before, also, right?
I had seen this before one time. Just sort of like, I think it was probably after I watched Contagion in April 2020.
Okay.
And I thought, I never saw Side Effects. I wonder what's going on with that. It also, same writer. It feels like the same poster designer.
Sure. Yeah.
And
bunch of guys.
The Jude Law character feels like sort of a combination of his Contagion character and the guys that his Contagion character hates. He's a big pharma cog who then becomes a conspiracy theorist.
I like that. Basically, like, his character is never like, I mean, I guess at the end, like when he's like vindicated, it's like, oh, he was a good guy after all, I guess. But like,
that's the confusing part. Yeah.
That's but like through most of the film, even when he proved that she was lying when he like drugged her with saline instead of like the sodium barbitol or whatever it was, and the prosecutor's like, yeah, that's not going to do
tell
anything.
Me that.
That is highly illegal and also doesn't help in any way, shape, or form. So.
I mean, it has a real film noirish. Like, none of these people are good. None of these people are heroic.
I think that is the point in the film when, for me, that is working effectively. Because we've also already seen. I sort of elided this in the summary, but he is part of like a big pharma study, and he has this really like a ritzy lunch where the pharma rep is clearly like selling him and his colleagues, and we get. I actually think it's kind of a nice understated insight into like this guy who says he has money problems. He has money problems in the way a guy who can pick up a side gig for $50,000 has money problems.
He buys a second place in like New York.
That's the problem. Like,
but like, I also appreciated how like all of the characters, even when he was like, well, no, like she clearly did this, and it's like, yeah, but you still did this, you fucked up, you still screwed up, like why, like just get over it.
Right. Yeah. I mean, the movie it's cruel in a way that feels, there's like sort of two, I'm not sure which way the movie is actually going. There's the kind of like black-hearted sort of smirking, devilish kind of aren't all these people bad?
Or like this type of event splashes everybody with mud.
Yeah, like
we're all debased.
Tales from the Crypt kind of like fable aspect of it, or a pleasurable, we're all enjoying watching bad people do bad things. There's that angle. And then there is also the possibility that the movie is a little bit saying like, women are always doing this kind of thing, huh?
No, I really, that aspect of this film really stood out more to me on this watch, especially like once everything is revealed. It just kind of like her and like Dr. Siebert, they're just become these cartoon characters all of a sudden, and it's like, oh, Jude Law's character was 100% right, and it wasn't that's that. Let's all wrap it up neatly. They go to jail. He gets his lovely wife and kid that he was already kind of neglecting even before.
Right.
Like that, his life is all back to normal now, and there's nothing, that whole aspect. I don't know
if the ending is supposed to be triumphant.
It feels triumphant though.
Look, I'm with Jane. It's ambiguous. It's a little too triumphant, because what I wanted is this sort of like, even like a Third Man or something, right? Where at the end you're like, well, the truth came out, but was this good? Like, is anybody better off? Right? It seems like everybody's just in a word. Where I agree with you, the end sort of feels like, well, this nasty Emily who was even going to trick Dr. Siebert, right? Sort of like she's like the worst kind of witch, because she even played this like older queer woman who, didn't understand her own feelings. And I think I agree with you, Jane. It feels to me like we're supposed to say like, ha ha ha, she's locked up, and that didn't land for me at all.
Yeah. I don't know. I think about something like Gone Girl, and I'm like, which does do the more ambiguous, like all these characters are like bad people.
That is a nasty movie. Yeah, that is a very mean-spirited film.
In the end, in the ending and everything, I think, and that is way darker than Side Effects, where it's just, everybody, the bad people are actually are all taken care of, and good old waspy Dr. Jude Law is he's gonna go back to his second townhouse with his corporate executive wife or whatever.
Right. With Vanessa Shaw doing fine. That's none of my business, I guess.
Not important to me. But yeah, I mean, it's even sort of like when we get snippets of his life, I would say that on paper, those characters don't sound appealing to me, right? His wife works in what seems to be like banking or something, and his stepson goes to a private school. But then when we see the snippets, he's like being a good stepdad, right? That's the thing that makes it seems like it tips it too far in, I'm supposed to feel for this guy. He is the hero ultimately.
But like, prescribing her Thorazine and Depakote, and specifically saying like Depakote causes hair loss, like that, I don't think we're supposed to think that that's
I think he's clearly being set up to say those things by the feds who are already waiting outside. But like, I think he says those things knowing she's not going to accept it, and then she's just going to get put back in. Like, she's clearly not going to be like, yeah, I'm going to take these things I don't need that you're prescribing me, and that goes against the little, because I'm the smart doctor, I put that little clause in that I get full control over your life.
Yeah, I mean, there's a reading of the movie where Emily is a kind of a one of Soderbergh's favorite types of protagonist, like an Aaron Brockovich or a Chelsea from The Girlfriend Experience, or even like a Magic Mike, where she's like using what she's got. She's sort of instrumentalizing her sexuality, her gender, because like we get the sense she is a person of at least like typical means. Like, she starts when she was a bartender. We have
so little insight besides the fact that she was a bartender, and the fact that she seems to be like a naked social climber, right? Does she have a motivation besides the fact that she said, I finally got everything I wanted and I didn't want to lose it?
I mean, that's most people. That's a lot. I don't know if it's most people. That's a lot of people. I think that
feels unfair, I think. I'm not sure I'm with you on that. She seemed like uniquely selfish and self-serving. Can you adjudicate,
like
Jane? What do you think?
The only thing that she liked Channing Tatum's character for was all the wealth and status symbols that he
he could whisk her away from all this.
And the fact that she went out and bought a replica boat before she stabbed him was kind of like this is what you took from me, so I'm gonna kill. Like, this is my justification for killing you.
Yes. So there's like a way that she is. So I was thinking about The Girlfriend Experience a lot, obviously, because it's a New York City movie and it's about people. It's about, finance. It's about the precarious world of New York financial speculation, and it's about women sort of trapped in structures of patriarchal dominance and trying to figure out something they can do within that. Right? Like, she knows she is to some degree manipulating, like the Gone Girl herself, Amy Gone. She is, Dunn, I believe. She is, I think, aware that she's a small, pretty white woman who doesn't seem like she would kill her husband and seems depressed, and like it factors into her plan that like she could get away with this if she blames it on the drug, right? This is not the kind of thing that a 6 foot tall, muscular brown woman might not come up with the same plan involving like the manipulating the public to
like
assume she could never
sympathy
do this.
first with a bunch of different people. Yeah. So
like there's a way that she's playing the cards she's dealt, and there's that whole discussion with Jude Law's like office mates about how she's a wounded bird, and like, did that cloud your judgment? And the movie is not asking us to like sympathize with her or think she's cool, think she's Danny Ocean or anything, but given Soderbergh's fondness for, or at least fascination with, the con man, with the performer, I do wonder how much he's like, women all do this, or if he's just saying like, here's a person who is using what they've been dealt,
the minimal
and they happen to be a woman
available.
But I relate to this person,
I think it comes down to the ending. If he wanted that to be the case, he would have let her get away with it. Like he like, she wouldn't be like locked up at the end. Like Jude Law's character would have all his shit taken from him.
You're right. Or, because you could still make a nasty piece of work.
Okay, Jane, you brought up Bubble. I don't even think you have to let her get away with it. Bubble, I mean, Martha and Bubble is like, we feel so bad for her from the opening shot of the film, her waking up at like pre-dawn to feed her father that she lives with, right? It's
I
not
didn't
like
even think about it. This movie is Bubble. It's the same story. Right. It's like a fucking fugue state murder. Yeah. Damn.
But in that, again, I'm not saying you have to land that hard, because I think it's not trying to be that type of film. I mean, another film that gets brought up, La Diabolique, that's sort of like twisty. Who are we feeling bad for in this story, right? Like, it's also two women who are conspiring against a man, and they kill this guy, but also were they being selfish? And who do we want to get the revenge?
Right. But we get a lot more in Diabolique. You get a lot more evidence that this guy's a fucking shithead, and also he's a French man in the 50s, so he deserved to be murdered.
Right, and I think that's part of the issue for me, is that like, just baseline the films, or maybe just me as a viewer, Emily seems like she sucks at the end of the movie, right? Sort of like her motives are so like entirely mercenary. There's just nothing else to it. And even the life that she falls to, like her, the rock bottom is like a pretty nice apartment that is like in Yonkers or something.
Employed.
I don't know. It's
she works for like, I don't even, like some graphic design agency.
Yeah, she works for do you guys know who that is? Who plays her boss? Polly Draper.
Yes.
She's the Wolf brothers' mom, Nat and Alex Wolf.
Oh, that
and
really?
She created the Naked Brothers Band TV show. She like momagered them into
bizarre.
being. Isn't that weird?
I didn't know that those kids went on, or at least Nat Wolf went on to like, I didn't realize the actor from Hereditary was the same guy from that TV show till like fairly recently. But that show, I never. I think I was already too old when it broadcast to watch it, but that title of that show, I was like, why did they go with that
name? Am I allowed to know about this? Yeah. There's little boys on here.
Why is this airing on Nickelodeon? Like, what's
Nickelodeon?
This title? Like, it felt very odd to me.
It's a bit odd, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I do, on the one hand, the script is very impressively, and one of the things Soderbergh talks about a lot, instead of like themes or anything, he just talks about there's an interview Ian shared with me from Mubi, where I think he talks about like the perfect math, the immaculate math of the script, where like
of Scott's work.
So much of the plot works really well. The plot is really perfectly calibrated, which is like, it's impressive, but it's not like, it does not a great film make necessarily.
And I still don't there's still like questions like that don't like, some of the things don't entirely make sense. It's like, was she all like, did she come up with the plan only after she realized she could seduce her therapist? Like that little bit.
They mention, I think that was just like a lucky
like she
accident. It didn't have to be him.
But I think Jane means
with
Siebert.
With Siebert, like
I know what you mean. Yeah,
like when she,
it does seem like in the moment she sort of like has this, brain blast or whatever. She's like,
or was she just going from therapist to therapist, like doing the seducing thing, and when it doesn't work, she's like, okay, on to the next therapist.
Well, she tried with a housewife who came into her department store around Christmas time. That was the first one she tried.
Yeah.
Therese.
Weirdly, it seemed like decades were in between those attempts, though. Yeah,
she's got a Lazarus pit. They cut the Lazarus pit scene. Yeah. I mean, I don't know to what extent, and the movie doesn't have to necessarily do this, and I'm certainly more forgiving of films of the mid-century that are like genre films, thrillers, engaging with a hot new topic of the time because of its narrative potential, and then incidentally acting as some kind of document of like.
I actually enjoy that oftentimes.
Contemporary mores, right?
Yeah.
Like something like the films of Sam Fuller are like famous for this, right? Like I don't know if Sam Fuller is going into Shock Corridor or the Steel Helmet or the Crimson Kimono or whatever, intending to make he's not trying to make like the
final statements
Stanley
on this
Kramer film about an important issue. It's like, well,
so this is what's on people's minds. This is what people are talking about.
The asylum is a great dramatic setting, and then incidentally, and this film, Soderbergh isn't saying I'm making the big pharma or the psychopharmacology movie. It's just there in the background, but I think. I guess I don't know. Like, is there a certain point past which we should expect people to know better? I don't know the answer to this question. Are we beyond?
I'm a big fan of I'm a really big fan of this type of film, of this like erotic thriller type of thing. And I'm not, I don't necessarily think they have to be like, oftentimes they're trashy in ways that, like you could say could be construed as offensive in some ways. But usually it doesn't detract from if the film is good enough, it won't necessarily detract from it too much. Mm-hmm. So
Body Heat's not incredibly nuanced about its characters, but it's sort of effective.
Or like Basic Instinct or something like that.
Sure,
where it's like those types of films. But with Side Effects, it's like it's because of like it's setting you like most of the film is so writing this line so good that when it doesn't necessarily stick the landing of what it probably should with what it's been building, those things then end up sticking out more. And I mean, I know that this is it's technically only a few years after Side Effects, but in Soderbergh time, it's like many films in between. But like with like Unsane,
right,
is a much better take on like the mental health care system.
I think Unsane it has a character we care about.
Yeah, that's a big deal. That's the big.
It is a big deal.
Yeah. And you know what? It's also starring Lisbeth Salander, two equally beloved performances as
that's a great
the
point.
Girl with the dragon
really
tattoo. Do you remember Claire Foy as the girl in the spider's way? She averts nuclear annihilation in that film.
Nope, don't remember that.
I remember, I saw the trailers for that and was like, why are they making this without Fincher? And then it just went out of my brain, and I forgot that that ever was a thing that happened.
Mm-hmm.
That's fair. I don't think you missed out on much. Yeah.
Rooney Mara, we should say, for anyone who doesn't know, is insanely rich. The Mara family, they own the Milwaukee Bucks or something. What are they?
Mm-hmm.
They own some sports team. Is it the Steelers? What is it?
I don't remember.
She is the Tatum character and more.
I was going to say, ironically, it does make her a very good fit for this film because I feel like she's like kind of acclimated to this world already.
Although Channing Tatum, I mean, I love Channing Tatum, but he doesn't quite work as this kind of finance bro to me.
He would work better, and I think in the if he was like 10 years later a crypto guy, that would make more sense.
Yes, yeah.
But it's just like your traditional like Wall Street creep type of guy.
And this is what
I think it's almost more interestingly written because he is not like a total loser. And he's not unsympathetic to her problems, right? I mean, he's also not the most caring or sensitive person about her mental illness struggles that she's going through. But I guess if you wanted to write the cartoon version, like if you wanted to commit to all cartoon, then he would just be like a piece of shit who doesn't want to put up with her crying or something, right? But instead, he is
Jordan
like
Belfort,
right,
yeah,
exactly.
When he dies, you're not. It's like it's that very interesting line of like, well, you don't care that much because he hasn't been shown. Well, I mean, to be that great of, but he also hasn't done anything. Really,
to make you hate him,
except that also he did insider trading and that's maybe one of the worst crimes there is. I mean, let's talk about big pharma for a bit. Let's talk about pills. Should we talk about pills?
Yeah, let's do it.
Pills and potions we overdosing. Remember that Nishi Minaj? She's in the. I was telling somebody this. Now that she's a big Trumpo, I do think that we have to move the Jay-Z Monsterverse up in the rankings. I do think it's like number 2 now, unfortunately.
Okay.
Well,
this was what
I think everybody on that song now has been shown to be a horrible human being in some way or shape or form.
Justin Vernon?
Yeah, I was going to say, except maybe the Bon Iver guy.
Yeah. He's just a horrible musician. Hey, come on. We're having fun here. I don't know. He seems fine. Kind of annoying, I guess.
He's whatever.
Well, so this is a tricky area because, like, on the one hand, pharmacology as an industry is like deeply fucking evil, and profiting off of people suffering in ways that are sort of unimaginably offensive to the human soul, but
literally unimaginable in the sense of like the scale at which it's happening you can't even conceive of.
But also there's at least 2 people on this call. Jane, you're welcome to. I'm curious to know if you'd include yourself in this. Who psychotropic drugs have kept us from blowing our fucking brains out.
Yeah. No, I'm on Prozac, and I went on that in 2019 for OCD related things, and at that point, like, I had basically tried for years to not do anything medically and to just like, but I was having like panic attacks about like health related things every day at that point, and I was like, I need to do something, and it has actually helped with like the intrusive thoughts part of that. Like it's like a noticeable difference.
That's great.
Not so much on like on the depression part of it, but that part of it, which I would say is, for me at least, has been worse. It has helped. So I'm like, I don't want to be like, I'm anti all, mental illness drugs or whatever, but the companies themselves are bad.
that's what's tough, and it's the kind of thing where like this is what contributes to, in my mind, what contributes to the kind of like conspirituality, make America healthy again sort of mindset, where you have people being obviously avaricious and amoral around stuff that really does help people, and then they taint the whole barrel, and the whole industry seems like horse shit. Once you start giving people whatever fake polio vaccines was it in Pakistan to try to find bin Laden, then now why would anyone ever trust vaccines? And that's what's so frustrating, is that like I who knows how many people could have gotten like a little nudge in the right direction from something like Prozac, but didn't want to take it because of all the obvious very good reasons why you shouldn't trust these companies manufacturing this shit.
Yeah, I mean, they assume the worst. I will say I had a kind of a sweet sense memory putting this movie on again because I saw it in probably 2014 or something, or late 2013, in a period where I had left UCLA briefly and was at home with my parents and had just gone on Prozac. Temple. Yeah, I mean, and the sweet memory is my mother stopping the movie like 15 minutes in and saying, "We can watch something else if you want to watch something else," nice. Which was, and I said, "Let's watch it." Yeah, but yeah, I think it's I think we're probably about to run through some of the horrors of historical psychiatric medicine, but can we concede that maybe many of the people involved, even up to and including Dr. Banks in the film, it seems like he's coming from a place of wanting to help people, and is just also simultaneously benefiting him financially and maybe coloring the way he does medicine, right?
They apparently rewrote they wrote a new introduction scene for him. They wrote that scene with the Haitian cab driver to humanize him more, which is a scene that is like, he really starts out in the film as a guy who's just has a very human understanding of like the nuance of
a little abolitionist scene where the cop is trying illness. The cop is pushing back about this guy, and he says, he even acknowledges as part of psychiatry like cultural perception is something that changes your.
It is a little weird for him to say like it's normal for Haitians to see ghosts. Like,
my God, yeah,
not how I would put it, but like. Saying this is culturally determined is we like that sort of thing.
It's really interesting to me because I do think that scene acknowledges that I think they knew that ending might not be warranted for him. So they were like, okay, we got to do something to make him seem like
warm him up.
Like, okay, well let's make him seem like Dr. Jesus at the beginning, so that he's like, oh, this guy is actually a real, he's one of the true good ones, the true good doctors.
And it feels unfair when the Allison Finn stuff comes out. I think we're supposed to feel that sort of like frustration of misunderstanding, they don't see that he's a good doctor. He's the good doctor.
The good doctor. We see, both he and Emily have this moment where like the inherent vulnerability and the inherent like power imbalance involved in the doctor-patient relationship gets it fucks both of them over, right? Where like there's this his patient in like many years ago who said that he had an inappropriate sexual relationship with her. Like, it's impossible to know what happened, and he, I don't know, everyone, the patient's family, the whole of society needs to trust that psychotherapists are going to like behave appropriately around vulnerable people. And the first suggestion of impropriety like can really destroy that trust, because trust is like, it's such a fickle and like vibes based thing,
and almost more so than like somatic medicine or something, right? Because it's entirely based on like, are you taking my emotional and psychological well-being as your highest priority, even when that's kind of a nebulous, difficult to define thing.
And also, is this person who's in the case of someone dealing with someone who's like having delusions, you are the ultimate arbiter of reality. We have to trust that if you're the one saying, as we see later in the film, if someone is saying like, this man is out to get me, you have to be trustworthy enough that we believe it when you say, I'm not out to get her. That is part of her illness, rather than a totally rational response to someone being out to get you, know? And, I mean, it freaked me out.
Yeah.
It's scary. It's a scary situation to be in. And I don't know. I'm glad I'm not a psychiatrist, I guess.
Yeah. It's, I feel like that tightrope balance of like trust that's why so many people don't, or put off going to therapy for so long, because it is like, it is kind of like you're rolling a dice every time, you look for one, whether or not this person is going to be somebody that you have a connection or a rapport with.
Yeah.
And like, if you're already somebody who like is feeling just overwhelmed by everything in the world, that whole process of trial and error can just feel like insurmountable obstacle to climb over. So it's a very tough process.
Yeah, and not to mention that even if we're assuming the best of intentions from somebody, I mean, it would be a dereliction of duty if we didn't bring up Foucault's Madness and Civilization, right? This classic text of what is mental illness, how has it evolved, or understandings, how have they evolved through time. But one of the big arguments it makes about sort of like the most recent stage is it became, rather than saying like these people are delusional, but what they are doing makes sense for their perception of reality. And in that way, we wouldn't even necessarily characterize that as an illness, right? It's sort of like correct operation for somebody who is seeing pink elephants or whatever, right? But what I think Foucault's argument that it evolves into is, well, now it's about this like contest of wills where the doctor believes they have like a normative vision of what good socially productive behavior is.
Right.
And what you're trying to do is help your patients or sort of like force them or conquer them or whatever to put them back on the path to that. But obviously, the issue with that is that you have to, just as a starting point, just like trust that you agree with the doctor about what that even looks like, right? Obviously, questions like of sexuality, of drapetomania, the famous thing of like runaway slaves being sick if they don't want to stay on the plantation or something.
Right. I mean, if there's so many classic examples, and Ian and I actually, we once took a trip, a very unfunny trip. I don't know if we talked about this on the show. We probably did. To the Psychiatry and Industry of Death Museum, which is a Scientology like
propaganda
tourist
project.
trap propaganda project thing in Hollywood. We thought it would be funny. It actually wasn't. It was basically kind of a pretty low rent sort of haunted house type attraction, explaining basically everything bad that's been done by psychiatrists throughout time.
Which they didn't have to make up. The stuff is real for the most part.
But the implication is basically that if someone calling themselves the same job in the 1400s like burned somebody alive, that must mean that like mental illness doesn't exist. You know, like
it's one of those like things that you know, people are always like, well, how do you fall? You know, how do people fall for cults? How do people like? It's usually like, even with something like Scientology, they're taking grains of truth, things that did happen, but their solutions and their answers are just so far off the mark that it's like, but they suck people in with those grains of truth.
Yeah,
so
because then they go confirm those and say, oh, wow, it's true that people were getting lobotomies for like mild depression or whatever in 1940, or for being mad about misogyny.
And so, you know, you don't have to look very far at all to see people defining things like being gay as a form of mental illness. And
in like
so
the DSM-4 or whatever. I don't know when it was taken out. Something very, very recently.
That's the one where they go to San Francisco. Thank you so much. But, you know, I was looking at two books. I was looking at the book Health Communism by Beatrice Adler-Bolton and Artie Vierkant of the Death Panel podcast. It's a good book. And I was also looking at the book Quick Fixes by past guest of the show, Benjamin Y. Fong. Also a great book, obviously.
Yep.
And both of them, you know, this is a pretty, they use a pretty well-established left conception of illness and madness under capitalism as constituting like the surplus population, and as illness and madness are defined as like states in which a person is no longer capable of producing for capital. Right. And which is obviously bad for if you're capital, right? You want everyone to be a worker, everyone to produce value, and you want to then extract it from them. And if you are too ill, physically, mentally, both, to whatever, make bolts at the bolt factory, then I can't exploit you. And then you don't matter to me. You should not exist.
Yeah. We
should lock you away. We should lobotomize you. We should kill you, whatever. And so in Health Communism, they talk about, as early as the 14th century, madness was used to describe a mental state which was lessened or irrational and produced notable, quote, headstrong behavior. As decades wore on, additional socio-cultural connotations accumulated that associated madness with foolishness and danger. Shifting definitions of madness and other forms of, quote, deviance are also illustrative of how designations of madness/surplus have served a disciplinary function relative to capitalist political economies, marking bodies for abandonment and extraction to suit fundamentally economic and socio-political aims. For example, as noted by Bruce Cohen, between 1864 and 1889, the Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum in West Virginia employed such flexible certifications of madness as to incarcerate people for, quote, immoral life, laziness, novel reading, politics, or such patriarchal justifications as, quote, uterine derangement or, quote, desertion by husband. So obviously, this has been used since the invention of like conceptions of mental illness. This has been used to discipline and enforce
discipline and punish, if you will,
social norms. Hey, you sound just like my friend Fujoshi.
Michael. Yeah. I mean, the only thing I'll add, I think that's all extremely well observed, but something to keep in mind is that anytime we're talking about like superstructural activity or enforcement of norms, it's not like the people who are doing it are saying, I'm gonna like grease the wheels of capitalism. I'm gonna make sure that
they're not in the ballroom from they live.
Right. Exactly. And, I mean, that's what makes it more insidious is the fact that what they are saying is, I have constructed an understanding of the world built upon the idea that to be healthy is to want to contribute, to be healthy is to want to have a job, to be healthy is to be subservient to your husband, if we're talking about 1950 or something, right? And then all they are trying to do to give them not the benefit of the doubt, but to sort of like understand their perspective is just all they are trying to do is saying, okay, how do I get the person back on the path to what I believe to be healthy behavior? It just so happens that they are operating on a constructed vision, which is extremely oppressive for many members of society.
Right. I mean, it's I think no. Well, I don't know. It might literally be a coincidence, but it's an informative coincidence that we use the term depression to describe a state of severe economic turmoil. Right. Yeah. I mean, and my personal depression has centered a lot around like my ability to support myself, my ability to do anything that matters, to have a job that doesn't make me go crazy, to like, is this the rest of my life? Why do anything? That's my anxieties and my depression are like tied up in obviously the political economy in which I live, but also in like all this sort of internalized stuff, the same sort of ideology that we're all soaking in from the moment we're born. And like, it's been tough for me to extract myself from that and to try to conceive of it as like, well, you know, it's okay to want to feel good. It's okay to not want to not like feel like shit and not want to do anything. But, you know, I try not to medicate myself in order to work better. Yeah. But at the same time, medication does help me like feel less panicked and miserable at my job.
Achieve goals that you have for yourself.
Yeah. Or
maintain relationships.
Or exactly. Just get the shit done that I feel like doing, that I even want to do.
Yeah. It's, you know, it's good to frame it in a way of less about like, I need to get myself to a state of functionality to enrich others, and more that I need to do this for myself. And it's like, well, you know, I know the world. It's hard to feel, you know, it's easy to feel guilty about feeling any sort of joy moment to moment, especially with everything that's, you know, we look around at everything that's going on, but it's like, it's okay. You know, it's okay to try and get help to like, you know, to do things for yourself and to be, and to get to your, like, and get yourself into a state for your own benefit, you know, because you're here, you know, we're all here, we're still here, you know, it's like you might as well, you know, try and, you know, do the best we can for ourselves to give a little bit of joy in our lives.
Yeah. I mean, we talked about this on the show before. If you're listening to this, you are forbidden from killing yourself. I'm sorry, but you're not allowed.
Cast a spell on you.
Yeah, can't do it. Don't try. But, you know, I have to sometimes remind myself, like, look, I'm too much of a chicken shit to kill myself. So I should go all the way in the other direction. Don't just hang out right above killing yourself. Like that doesn't help anybody. Yeah. And even just like in terms of forget being a capitalist subject, like being a good partner and neighbor and friend, cousin, whatever, man from uncle.
Man from uncle, yeah. No, like for me, like it's what's helped me is I always frame it less. It's like, well, it doesn't help. It doesn't help anything to just be laying here and not even trying. But like, everything is terrible. But like, what are things that I can do for myself to get myself in a way that I can start helping others in ways that I want make their lives a little bit less, because if it's already like this for me, like I would love to alleviate some of those things for others people that I care about in the world. And it's like, and like if I can't do that, I can't do that when I'm just stuck within myself all the time. So it's like that helps me a little bit. It does, I mean, obviously it does, it's also important to remind yourself that it's okay to just sit with feeling those things sometimes too. It's
sure.
That's the flip side. It's like that is rational behavior. It is rational to say stuff that is happening is extremely upsetting, and I feel impotent because I don't know how to help these people, and I have great empathy for them. But I think implicit in what you're saying, Jane, is this idea that if we are people who share a politics that is about wishing the best for other people and constructing a society, that is sort of like modeling that in yourself, right? It's like, well, am I permitting myself the type of life and cultivating that in a way that I would like to see other people do? And because if I believe they deserve it, then sort of like by extension, I must deserve it, even though I don't feel like I deserve it sometimes.
Yeah, no, that's beautiful. I love that. That's great.
I mean, that's as Gandhi said, be the Channing you wish to see in the world. He was a big fan. Racist guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
well, I mean,
he was pretty racist.
In South. I think that was something he was explicitly apologetic about. I think the weirder late life stuff was him asking like naked 15-year-olds to lie in bed with him. That was the strange
to like test his.
He was in a Naked Brothers band.
Yeah, No, he was actually just a big fan of theirs too. Like,
he loved all their songs. I don't even
Name
know.
one
Did they
song
have
or you're
songs?
dead.
They had a whole video game. They had like a rock band type thing.
Whoa!
You play to their. You play.
That's insane.
I was imagining like Battletoads for some reason.
Yeah, that's good. They're on little like speeder bikes,
like a beat 'em up. Yeah.
I mean, look. As Ben Fong describes in his book, there's like you can sort of track the history of the most prominent psychiatric drugs of the day according to kind of ambient social responses to the situation that the stage of capitalism, if you like, of those moments. The shift from Mother's Little Helper kind of benzos and stuff and barbiturates to antidepressants, uppers and antidepressants and this sort of gradual like shifting of the blame from like, well, the world is hard, my life is hard, to like I have a neurotransmitter problem. He's particularly critical of the oversimplified neurotransmitter explanation of depression and anxiety in that book, in a way that I did find, I don't know how much I agree with it, but I did find it cathartic to have someone say like, I'm tired of looking at this stupid little cartoon of two like
puzzle pieces,
ganglions or whatever. Yeah.
I mean, I think the interesting thing about that, which Soderbergh also points out something similar. I forget which of the interviews it's in about this film, but he says something along the lines of, I wonder which pills Anne from Sex, Lies, and Videotape would be prescribed now. Right. I mean, he's sort of saying like at that moment, which is also kind of an oversimplification. It's not like people weren't taking, like you're saying, Valium or whatever in 1989. But it is maybe fair to say like what would have been attributed to just an unhappy marriage or something that is maybe just a fact of life, which is also not healthy, right? To just sort of like accept it as this immutable truth. But now we would say, okay, there's something wrong with your chemical functioning in your brain. And
I mean, we do have to like the types of medication that they were prescribing in like, this is a personal story, but like in the 1970s, okay, my grandmother, I think she was formally diagnosed with bipolar at a certain point, but like from all the way from back in the 1950s, she was like having problems and went through the shock treatment and that type of stuff back at that point. But in the 1970s, they had her on the wrong, like a type of medication that she should not have been on for like years and years. And it just like completely, you know, just
like
changed
scrambled
her person.
things
like,
worse.
Yeah. And it's just like, you know, I think about like, like even like compared the medications that we have now, I do think they are a lot better than they were even, you know, like 50 years ago.
Yeah.
Yep.
And so in that regard, I also can see why, you know, like maybe in like 1989, a therapist would have been less likely to prescribe something for a general depression symptom just based on how wrong people have tended to been with with that type of stuff. But I don't, like I said, I definitely think, you know, there has been like with the pharmaceutical companies, there's been an incentive to push SSRIs more for like every sort of situation, and that maybe they don't necessarily need to be prescribed for. But on the whole, I would say it's a much better place we're in regards to mental health than we were in 1989 than we were in like 1956 and we were in like 1932. Like in that regard, I think those things have gradually been progressing, maybe not well enough, and you know, but it's just such a really hard thing to reckon with, because it's like you know, like we said, we keep coming back, or I keep coming back around to it, because I don't want to like, let's give it up for the Prozac company for like, you know, it's like,
well, you know, on the one hand, you have these absolute bastards who are only manufacturing this because it's profitable for them, not because they want to like help people in any way. Perhaps some of the chemists in the laboratory got into it because they wanted to help people, but like the you know, the decisions being made by the board of directors they're not benevolent. But at the same time, like, I don't want to tell anybody that the thing that is helping them stay alive is bad or that they're wrong for taking it. I do think a lot of, certainly like my depression, my anxiety, a lot of it is situational and derived from my material circumstances, but I can't change those material circumstances immediately myself. So like I have to take a pill. And also I do think that some people are born with a brain that works kind of weird and is not set up. The world is not designed to be as easy for that sort of brain.
Just the rhythms of the world. Yeah. Like the day-to-day pattern. Yeah.
Let alone if you are a person who's trans or a person who has any kind of like atypical hormonal production. If you're the kind of person whose body, just like all the little factories in your body that make stuff that's supposed to make your body work, sometimes those little factories are not. They come out in a different way, and sometimes you need to like take pills to help you stay on course or help you be the kind of person that you feel like you are, which it makes all of this messy, right? Because then like so many people can jump on and do jump on like, well, everyone's on SSRIs now, that's why they're mass shooters, or that's why there's trans people now. It's the SSRIs are making you trans,
well, that's instead of politics. It's instead of addressing the issues, right? But I guess to build on the point you were making, Jane, about this like evolution over time, I think I see one of the positive outcomes of the sort of like mad rights, or like the people from these various groups who have pushed back on some of the applications of psychiatry historically, is that I would say, maybe I'm being too optimistic and I want you both to push back on me if I am, but it feels like there's more transparency about like, well, try this thing. We're not even 100% sure why. I mean, even for SSRIs.
Yeah, I've had a lot of...
My doctor was sort of like, I'll be honest, like we've had this medication for like 50 years. We're not entirely sure like how it functions, but it
seems to work.
Yeah, exactly. It seems to work for like 60% of people, or some percentage above the placebo effect. And then even for other things, this attitude of like, well, for example, like with hormonal replacement therapy or something, the attitude seems to be like, let's try stuff to try to get you into a position that seems to be like working for what for you would be functional. And that to me already feels very different than saying, I am the master, I am Mr. Doctor, and I'm telling you that you need to do this thing to be my vision of what like a functional person is.
And you can't be trusted to make any decisions for yourself. Yeah.
And it's the interesting thing about that is I think part of, the whole Maha movement is they want to go back to the doctors just being like, this is what you need to do, and this is like they don't like the they don't like the patriarchy, but they don't like the option for people to be like, I want to do this, I want to try this, it wants like a yes or no, or like
they want a simplified binary of some kind.
There's no wiggle room for it. It's like
a lot of this overlaps with much of what we talk about as abolitionists. There's the asylum and the prison are often two sides of the same coin, intertwined, sometimes parts of the same building. And there was,
as we see in the introduction of the Dr. Banks character, right?
Exactly.
It's in the film.
Yeah, I mean, in 2015, Cook County Jail in Chicago hired a clinical psychologist as its warden in recognition of the fact that 1/3 of the inmates were mentally ill, for example. And Ian, you shared this Al Jazeera article with me that we'll link about the ways that, I mean, this is, Dr. Jude Law talks about being a victim of circumstance and biology, and there's maybe no better illustration of that. It's an article about the way that people who are accused of crimes and arrested for crimes, who are deemed incompetent to stand trial, there's like a system whereby they are cycled between state psychiatric facilities, including literally the one that's in the movie, and
which is
Rikers.
Called Kirby. And the article is like kind of positive. There's a bunch of activists talking about actually when they're in mental hospitals, a lot of these people are stabilized and they become, they're declared competent to stand trial. And then, like you're saying, they're cycled into Rikers for months, and they're sent back
to Rikers now that they're healthy or whatever. Yeah. And then, wouldn't you know it, being at Rikers, where, first of all, it's fucking Rikers, it's a fucking prison, and there aren't people there who are trained, who like know how to deal with mental health crises. And
they just don't have access to their meds. They just say straight up,
they literally don't have the right medication. And wouldn't you know it, all of a sudden, this person is no longer seeming as competent as they were when they were in the facility designed to help them with their problem.
And even the protective policies are miserable. You get to the part of the article where they talk about, I think it's like section 730 that says, well, if you're trapped in this cycle, don't worry. You can only serve a maximum of 2/3 of the sentence that you might end up with, right? These people have not been tried yet. So this is
pre-trial because you haven't been declared competent to stand trial yet. So you're in this system where you're in the prison hospital or the prison.
Right, but they're like, but don't worry, if it's aggravated assault, you can only be caught in this cycle for maximum 2/3 of the time before we even decide whether you are guilty or innocent. And then they also say for life sentences, this protection doesn't even apply. So you can just be stuck in this indefinitely. So
all these things are interconnected with a lot of the stuff we talk about. Of course, we've talked about how the police are very often called to deal with someone who's experiencing what is obviously a mental health crisis, but instead of someone who knows what they're talking about showing up and someone who knows how to approach someone who speaks feeling
French.
This way.
Right.
Someone who speaks French or speaks the equivalent, speaks like, I know what it's like. I've at least read a lot of descriptions of like a schizophrenia experience. I know probably what you're feeling, so I can speak to you and try to help you get to a place where you feel safer. Instead, the cops show up with big guns, and they are really racist and stupid and tell you to like stop resisting. And so of course things go south. And, we see that here in the film. Like, she goes outside and there's a bunch of cops standing around. She starts freaking out at the end, why wouldn't you? So, circumstance biology, we're all experiencing it, aren't we, folks?
Yeah, the thing about that ending, once again, it's like we're supposed to be cheering that all the cops are there and tackling her and stuff. And it's just like the thing about that film, the film is, it's like, even if she's not suffering from the mental illness that she claims she is, like, there's something going on with her. So it's like, right. Clearly, like, I feel like she, I don't know. I feel like the film wants you to it just wants to have it both ways.
Yeah.
I feel like.
I mean, I think that's, and the flip side of what we're talking about, right, and we have talked about before, is even if you are recognizing that mental illness can be tied up in circumstance. I mean, in the course of doing some research for this episode, I was also reading about the difficulty of identifying how often people who suffer from schizophrenia end up being violent, like above the norm, because there's also just greater propensity for people to end up with schizophrenia if they come from environments of abuse and poverty. So it's sort of like, well, actually, those things also just lead to violence. And I mean, it's a real, like, actually politics is happening here all the time, right? There isn't like this person's criminal, this person's insane, this person's healthy and doing well and, respectable or something.
And these are very often, especially with mental health diagnoses, these are semantic questions. These are, this is a constructed, it's a description of like a frequently comorbid set of symptoms, basically, that has been determined culturally and is applied in an unequal way by doctors. I mean, there's plenty of literature on like the preponderance of schizophrenia diagnoses among Black people as compared to white people. And then they carry real, like, legal weight. They affect the way that you can interact in society. If someone has deemed you, someone who's been granted the authority to deem you one of this type of person that changes who you are and what you can do, whether you can, in some cases, vote or, like, stand trial, or articulate for yourself, whatever.
One of the things I did like about that beginning, when he's talking to her and he decides that he's not going to have her committed, is that, like, a lot of times that is the worst option to do for somebody, like, especially somebody, like for me, like, if I was in that similar situation, what I would want to do is just to be like, get my bearings, but I would not want to be institutionalized for like an indefinite amount. I would want to try and get back. Right. We had, like, because he also had, like, he had the follow-up plan. He had all of, like, all of those, like, those safety things were in place, and those were followed. Like, to me, like, I feel like part of like the empathy that they established with him earlier, like, continued there. Is like, he understands, like, or not every patient is going to, like, respond well to certain types of like, oh, I can see that she was going to do better if she gets back to her stable routine and isn't, like, thrown out of, like, proportion from, like, her environment. Because like I said, like, it's just like, there's nuances to, like, things like that. Not every place that you would get involuntarily held is going to be good for you. It's not going to help, it's and especially if that's like a fear that somebody has, that's, and that gets, like we see with her job and stuff like that, that would probably have had an effect on her ability to stay employed at that place. So it's like, there's levels.
Yeah. And I mean, I think part of what complicates it, I was, reading some articles by psychiatric doctors, and in defense of at least some of these things that I was reading, they weren't leaping to involuntary commitment as something that they love because they were even identifying what you're talking about, Jane. Like, look, when I am choosing to, ask for a hold or something, it's not even just the decision, okay, this person is a danger to themselves or others. It's a decision of, is it worth it? Because now they're going to be in a place, like you're saying, that has like clear downsides, right? It has like stress factors. They're away from maybe people that make them feel safe. They're away from the aspects of their normal life. So the question that at least this person was trying to ask is like, is that even worth it? And, you know, they were turning it into a question of resources, because what they said is really the dream would be, could I assign like a specialized team of caseworkers to be at home with this person 24/7? Because they do need, there are instances where people need, you know, emergency intervention. And I will even say, you know, there's these like 4 pillars of biomedical ethics: autonomy, beneficence, non-maleficence, and justice.
And Hodge.
That's right. Yeah.
Sorry.
It's okay. And it is complicated because in my own experience of being suicidal, I had a doctor who made a deal with me, kind of like at the beginning of this film, and she said like, we're going to have a call with your family and you in a couple days, but like, you know, you should go home and be with your parents. And she ultimately in some ways violated my autonomy, and that she ended up calling like 2 days earlier. But I will say I have to give her credit, because I think that was a wise decision. She was sort of like, I was too worried about waiting 2 extra days. So I just thought, you know, it was worth it. And again, I'm not saying that that's, like you said, Jane, it's not something that you should make a blanket statement about. It's extremely nuanced situation by situation. But in that case, I just, you know, I want to shout her out as somebody who was reading the situation correctly. Like, you know, maybe we can't wait 5 days to talk about this and make sure everybody's up to date on how urgent this situation is, right? Because it's something that needs to be addressed. So, you know, it's difficult to decide which of these pillars are you prioritizing at any given moment.
Right.
Yeah, I get like, not like to bring it back to the movie for a second, but I really do think like my
it's
biggest
good to do that.
Oh no, I just I think really my biggest problem with his characterization is it just seems to flip-flop between like, oh, he's a kind and empathetic doctor, oh, he's only just a shill for like pharmaceutical stuff, oh,
right.
he's like, oh, he's actually unethical. It's like it just feels too like, and not even like, I get, you know, like not like, you know, human beings are complicated, so yeah, it's possible.
Sure, and contradictory, and
he could, you know, but at the same time, it really it just feels like off from scene to scene sometimes, like how they're treating him.
It is a little confusing also that he's on I guess it would mess with the immaculate math of the plot, but it's sort of odd that he's being paid to prescribe people a different medication. Like Ablixa is not the one that he's working with in the trial.
Yeah, I think that's actually a decent bit of writing of sort of like, this is just I mean, it's not all part of the conspiracy. It's happening all the time.
Okay. Yeah.
And but I mean, and like clearly that existed. I mean, maybe that's part of the impressive machinations of the script, because like, you know, he thought like, okay, well he's going to be on, like, you know, he's going to be advising on this medication. And so that's how he'll find out about the stocks when they kick him off.
Right. Exactly.
You know, like they thought of everything.
It is. I think that is where it comes in, because that the rep is the one who mentions the stocks. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also like that he just brings up out of nowhere the whole airline stock bit about 9/11.
Any suitably unmoored conspiracy-minded person
leads back to
I mean, one of the biggest shorts of all. Those towers were quite tall, and then
they went from big to short.
That's
You're right.
so true.
From tall to short. Yeah. Mama the Little Baby loves shortening.
Brian Wilson would love that reference.
Yeah, it's one of his favorite songs. And also, speaking of which, a famous victim of a abusive psychiatrist.
Yeah, that's true.
It all makes a lot of sense.
Immaculate.
Also,
math.
did you know that like he went to go see the film? Have you seen Seconds, the John Frankenheimer film?
Yes.
Yeah.
Great film.
He went to go see that in the late 60s. And he was late, and he came in right when one of the characters is like, "Oh, thank you for coming in, Brian." And like,
so he had an
e pluribus experience,
and he didn't watch another movie until the 1980s again after that.
Wow!
Like, so when he said that like Norbit is his favorite film,
maybe it's because no one in Norbit is named Brian.
It's plausible he really just barely watches movies.
Well, between Seconds and Norbit, I'd have to say Norbit. Yeah, that's insane. A sainted man, and did not deserve any of that stuff that happened to him. I do have, speaking of people who deserve things to have happened to them, I would love to to share a little bit that I learned about Zyprexa, which is mentioned briefly in the film. They talk about as an example of another crisis of this type, another PR crisis, what Eli Lilly had to deal with Zyprexa. Now, Zyprexa is the brand name of olanzapine, which is an antipsychotic medication. Eli Lilly has faced a number of lawsuits surrounding Zyprexa, mostly around the company's knowledge and downplaying of very severe weight gain side effects and an increase of causing and exacerbating diabetes, even compared to other antipsychotics that come with weight gain.
Yeah.
So something like a $1.2 billion in settlements and payouts to people who developed diabetes while taking this medication. And there's documents. There was a whole thing where documents got leaked showing that, Aaron Brockovich style, they knew that diabetes was going to be a problem. And then they were involved in a different suit where I believe they tried to sue somebody about leaking the documents.
Wow.
Yeah.
Always the sign of great innocence if you're saying, yes. Hey, why are you leaking all this stuff?
Yeah. And then in 2009, they pleaded guilty to a U.S. Federal criminal misdemeanor charge of illegally marketing Zyprexa for off-label use and agreed to pay $1.4 billion, $1.4 billion misdemeanor. The settlement announcement stated, quote, Eli Lilly admits that between September 1999 and March 31st, 2001, the company promoted Zyprexa in elderly populations as a treatment for dementia, including Alzheimer's dementia. Eli Lilly has agreed to pay a $515 million criminal fine and forfeit an additional $100 million in assets, which of course is literally nothing to them, the informant style. But also Zyprexa, the side effects of Zyprexa include an increased risk of death if you have dementia. And they promoted this.
That is so
insane.
Evil. It's just beyond the pale.
And I learned this from Quick Fixes, the Ben Fong's book. Direct-to-consumer advertisements for pharmaceuticals are legal only in the U.S. and New Zealand. No other country in the world has commercials saying, ask your doctor to give you our new medication we made up.
It's a thing that's like in Mexican sitcoms where people go to the U.S. That's how weird it is to people here. Like, what? People are advertising drugs on TV. What are you talking about?
And you guys advertise the doctor. You got Dr. Simi all over the place.
We do. That's
Dr. Simi diet.
That whole genre of commercials of happy families playing in the yard while every symptom that's worse than the thing that's being
I need my dog to be in color again. That's all I care about.
Yeah. Ian has a border collie. He's really confused. Anyway, do we have any final thoughts here on side effects?
I think, despite some of my misgivings, I still like the film quite a bit, mostly just on a formal level, just because it is such a, I think the way that it's shot is so unique. It's just not and we just I miss this type of film. We don't get them as much anymore. I mean, if we do, they're relegated to either Lifetime films that are just always going to be terrible, or it's shuffled onto Netflix, buried amongst 1,000 other options. I mean, I miss theatrical, theatrical films.
Ian?
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you, Jane. Either it feels like now you have to pick between full pulp or ironic pulp, but you rarely get a film that is trying to make a somewhat coherent point that is also saying, you know what, there's elements to B movies that are just fun to bring into any story. And we could just ignore, we can enjoy as a storytelling element. But I also agree with you, just that it's shot very well. I'm not wild about this movie, but it's competent enough in multiple ways that I think it's worth watching and easy to watch.
And Rooney Mara is very good.
Yeah, she really
is good.
She is
good on its own.
On multiple registers, she plays it pretty effectively.
Yeah. Right.
Yeah, I in terms of the points it's trying to make, I'm not sure that it has all that much to say that makes a ton of sense, or I'm not even sure it's interested in that necesserily. And
it's just a tapestry. It's a canvas on which
Is Soderbergh really the only filmmaker releasing theatrical genre films that still have relation to current events?
I was thinking about that. I mean, it's we don't where are the thrillers extending from the obvious like dramatic potential of things like crypto, of things like where's the of and I don't mean like a stupid GLP-1 remake of Thinner or something. I'm talking about like a thriller.
Yeah.
Like
like the best you get is the dumb money GameStop shit. Like,
right. You get the GameStop the GameStop movie. Yeah. I think Soderbergh's one of the only ones doing it. I mean, I'm thinking sort of Fincher's The Killer it invokes a lot of stuff about gig work.
Yeah.
There's probably some stuff that we're neglecting because we haven't seen every movie, but certainly theatrically, it's hard to think of. And like, it's not like I don't like when there's a horror movie about an app or whatever.
Well, all horror movies are about trauma. That's the truth.
Yes.
Yeah. Like they're all about trauma.
I do just want to play a clip. I'm an ADHD girly. We've talked about this on the show, and there's a moment where he asks to be prescribed Adderall just to help him focus, which I do think is sort of, it's Jude Law's character slipping, and he's no longer like he's using the substances as a little like power ups rather than as something to help treat a state of illness. But
it also kind of has this implication that like doctors are not supposed to be on these medications. This is
for sick people. Yeah.
Right.
But anyway, I just wanted to play the clip here.
That's what it's for, to help people focus on something. Focus on these nuts. Fuck you.
I just thought that was a really funny part of the movie.
Yeah. That's one of the biggest shorts of all time too.
A little tonally off from the rest of the film, but I'm glad he included it. And that actor, the way he was able to change his voice like that, it's interesting.
It's a daring performance. I know people were a little upset about it.
Kind of a Norbit quality to it.
Yeah. Anyway, that's gonna do it for our episode on side effects. We do have one more segment we got to do before we close things out. Kimmy, what's going on?
This is Popcornopolis, the segment where we ask our guest, do you like popcorn?
Jane, do you like popcorn?
It's all right. I'm not like a big popcorn person. I don't.
Tepid. I like it.
What's your movie snack?
Damning with faint praise.
If I get any snack at the movies, it's usually just like M&Ms or something like small like that. I'm usually, I usually don't get anything. Maybe I'll get a drink sometimes, but it's just expensive.
Sure. So. Are you a crunchy chips person? Are you a pretzels person?
I will eat those. I will eat those at home.
Shut up, Ian.
I won't. I don't usually get chips at the movie theater. No, it's just because
sure. No, they're discouraged. I think you're not supposed to get loud stuff. I just meant generally the way you said that you don't
crazy.
Care about popcorn.
I was so impressed with Jane. You're basically a saint for rolling with the question. Are you a crunchy person? Like us, just a normal thing.
I said it. Are you a crunchy chips person?
Okay, all right.
No, I like Doritos. I like Doritos.
Do you get crunchy M&Ms? Or you get softies?
They
should have soft M&Ms.
Is the regular?
They should have.
Don't they like? I mean, I think
like a junior mint.
I don't think Ian is wrong about this because I think there was M&Ms for a while that like melt, like you put it on your tongue and it like melted, like chocolate melted in your tongue or something.
Interesting.
I swear to God, that's real.
I like it.
We gotta get to the bottom of this. I'm gonna get my red thread out.
I'm not telling tales out of school here.
Assassinated immediately after we published the episode.
That was the bullet. Nothing. No new popcorn stuff for me. Ian, new popcorn?
Nope, no new popcorn. I used a little bit of popcorn to test the temperature of fry oil because I couldn't find my thermometer, and that's a trick I learned on YouTube.
You tossed a little
Yeah, I can't even relay the one weird trick because I can't remember. But you're supposed to. It's like how fast it pops or something. I don't know.
You hold. It's like how many hands to the horizon.
Right. Exactly.
How many hours till sundown.
Yeah.
All right. Speaking of sundown, we're all doing it. Jane, do you have anything you'd like to plug?
Yeah, I don't. Pacino Pod exists. You can listen to all the episodes that we've done anywhere that you can listen to podcasts. Otherwise, I'm writing poetry. Keep an eye out for that. I might have a little small run zine coming out soon. So that'll
very cool.
Hopefully be available in the next few months or so.
Nice.
Will that be available on your Twitter platform?
It'll be once I have a certain amount, I will tweet out, and if anybody's interested, and they'll just DM me, or I guess I don't have like a store set up for it, but
no, that's
it's
great.
A small little thing.
Jane,
very cool.
I'm finding Jane Altoids aggregated into a lot of my like left-leaning meme accounts on Instagram that I follow. I'll just be on there and I'll see my friend Jane is.
That's
my
cool.
Friend
That's always
Jane
cool.
had a zinger. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Those meme accounts will share, and I never find out about it until someone just randomly messaged me. There's probably ones that like I still have no idea were shared in other places, but it's always weird because I'm like, I wish they would ask me.
Yeah,
give me tag me or like let me know. The quiet
flattery of
it's just like, I do this for attention. I want the attention.
I thought this was funny. I'm gonna post it. It would feel great. Well, what's your account? Did you say your account?
Oh, it's at Static Blue Bat on Twitter, Blue Sky, Instagram, Letterboxd, everywhere.
Every which way.
Beautiful.
Well, thank you so much, Jane, for being on the show.
Thank you for having me.
Great to have you.
Enjoy talking about this film.
Me too. Side effects and side duck. Think about that. Remember to subscribe, rate us, write a review. Helps us on the algorithm. If you like the show, tell a friend, tell your dad, tell your therapist. Follow us on Twitter and Instagram at Podcasty For Me. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, or you're interested in co-hosting a two-person Steven Soderbergh podcast, you can email us at podcastyforme@gmail.com. All of this is at podcastyforme.com and shootingyourselfinthehead.com. But as we said, don't do that. That's a joke. It's a funny website to have. Thank you to Jeremy Allison for our artwork. We'll be back in 2 weeks with our episode on Behind the Candelabra. If you can't wait that long, sign up for the Patreon, $5 a month. You get cool stuff. We're doing an episode coming up on kissing. We're going to find out what it is. Until then, bye.
Bye.